Vegas, the high-stakes capital of America. What a setting to decide the last couple of playoff spots. No doubt the biggest game of Derek Carr's career so far as he tries to send the Raiders to the playoffs for the first time in 5 years. And tonight they host the Chargers led by second-year sensation Justin Herbert, looking for his first taste of postseason football. It's a win or tie and you're in. Lose and you're out. And here's why. What happened earlier today in Jacksonville, Indianapolis picked the worst time to play their worst game of the year. Carson Wentz and the offense struggled mightily. Credit the Jaguars for playing one of their better games. The Colts eliminated after an upset loss at Jacksonville. And then Big Ben hasn't hit midnight just yet. That was Roethlisberger's last game. Oh, Steelers go to Baltimore. Win on the field goal in overtime to keep their hopes alive. They're in the playoffs unless tonight's game ends up in a tie. Tennessee is locked down the 1 with a win. Kansas City is the 2. Buffalo's trying to hold on against the Jets in the fourth quarter right now for the 3. Cincinnati is done and finished. And the Patriots, who are losing. The Chargers and Raiders coming up on Sunday Night Football. And as we said, it's the Steelers in unless there's a tie. Welcome to Football Night in America, the best football night of the year. We got tiebreakers, we got matchups, we got everything here for you. And we're glad you're with us. Mike Tirico, Tony Dungy, and Drew Brees. Let's focus first on tonight's game. The winner is in. As we said, a tie is the only way the Steelers are out. Then both of these teams are in. We'll get to that in a second. Let's talk about on the field and the guys under center. What a great quarterback matchup this one is, Drew.
Yeah, it is. And I really like Justin Herbert. Had a chance to spend some time with him in the preseason and watch him grow this entire year. It's been a year of building the foundational element there with the Chargers. They bring in Brandon Staley, create that defensive scheme, offensively go out and get Joe Lombardi. So you've seen them get better and better each and every week. He's got all kinds of playmakers around him. I look for him to have a big night tonight.
Well, both of these teams have great quarterbacks, but I tell you, the key is going to be stopping the run tonight. Both teams struggled early on, both teams getting better, but they're still giving up over 4 yards a carry, both the Raiders and the Chargers, and they're playing explosive running games. Who is going to stop the run tonight?
Ekeler had a good game in game 1 for the Chargers against the Raiders. Raiders do get back Josh Jacobs. He is active, and Darren Waller, their great tight end who's missed the last 5 games with knee and back injuries, he's also active. The inactive list just coming out a couple of minutes ago. It's been an eventful season, an eventful few weeks for these teams for their path to this game tonight. For more on that, we welcome in Steve Kornacki. Steve, take us through it.
Yeah, Mike, well, let's rewind the clock here. This was back in the middle of December, the start of Week 15. The Chargers back then looked like almost a lock to make the playoffs. They had a 78% chance. Remember, they were going into that Thursday night game against the Chiefs. We were talking about, can the Chargers run away with the division? Forget the wild card. Of course, the Chargers dropped that game, then they dropped that awful one to Houston. All of a sudden, this is what happened to their playoff chances. And meanwhile, complete opposite story with the Raiders. They were at 14% going into Week 15. That's when they played the Browns. Remember that miraculous last-second drive to pull out the win? This number would have been close to 0 if they hadn't done that. Suddenly, the Raiders get in a winning streak. Last week, both of these teams get a little bit of help from some others losing. Each team wins last week, and it sets this up perfectly. 9-7, 9-7, playing tonight, as you're saying. If the Raiders win this game, they are in the playoffs. If the Chargers win this game, they are in the playoffs. If they happen to tie, though, they both make the playoffs, and that is the only scenario right now where the Pittsburgh Steelers would miss the playoffs. Look at it this way. Currently, we've completed 265 games in this NFL season. One of them has ended in a tie. It involved the Steelers, if you remember. So 0.3% of all NFL games this year have ended in ties. I'd say that's the chance right now that the Steelers miss the playoffs. 0.3% chance if there's a tie.
So you're feeling good if you're a Steelers fan. Those numbers given to you as only as Kornacki can from Pro Football Focus. So let's talk about that tie scenario, because it was the topic of a lot of conversation this week, and we thought that won't matter because there's no way Indy's going to go to Jacksonville and lose, but they did. So now this tie is a possibility, Tony. As a coach, would this factor into any of your decision-making at any point tonight?
Very little. As Steve said, 0.3% chance, so I'm not even going to think about it until we get to overtime. Now, we saw a game, Pittsburgh went for it on 4th and 8 in overtime, where now you would probably punt that ball if you know a tie is going to win for you or get you in the playoffs. But until then, you're playing to win the game, Drew.
And as a player, you are playing to win the game. That's all you're focused on, doing whatever it takes, especially knowing that the playoffs is next week. You are wanting to be at your very best.
Right, because if you win, according to our handy-dandy chart here, you're your matchups get a little bit better, a little bit different. For example, like the Raiders, a tie, they guarantee they go to Kansas City. They don't want to do that.
My buddy Herm Edwards would tell you, you're not playing for a tie.
You play to win the game. We play to throw it over to Chris and Maria for a little bit more on one of the big performances today.
That's right, Mike. And we have a very special best throws for you this week, and that's because of Big Ben's potentially last regular season stand and how he played down the stretch.
Well, he was clutch, and like Mike said, I mean, we thought the clock was about to strike midnight, and it did not. Big Ben, phenomenal. Saved his best football really for the whole year, and this game, late in the game, 3rd and 9, huge completion over the middle. Here, the Big Ben pump, finding the accurate ball to score the touchdown. How about this throw with the tight coverage, tight end? And then here, a 4th and 8, down the middle of the field. It wasn't pretty. It's not always sexy, but Big Ben was very efficient, and that's why he's really one of the clutchest quarterbacks we've ever seen in NFL history.
You know, Chris, if you include the playoffs, that's his 57th career game-winning drive. So simply put, he is a gamer. You know who else is a gamer?
Who's that?
Jack Collinsworth and Ronnie
I'm
Harrison.
not sure about that.
I hope they're not playing
okay.
too many games out there on the strip and actually doing their job. Let's
get to work.
Good evening, fellas.
That's why we like Maria better than Chris right there. In this city, does top shelf entertainment every day, but this is the first time the spectacle of single elimination football has hit the strip, and you can feel it out here. Come on!
Hey, you ever want to know what playoff football feels like? This is it right here. It's off the chain, man.
And Derek
It just
Carr,
feels different.
It does, doesn't it? Derek Carr, he's been putting together fourth quarter magic this past month, but how can the Chargers defense come in here and ruin the day?
I like the Chargers defense, and it's not just Bosa and Derwin James. They have a lot of good young players that don't get the national attention that they deserve. I look at a guy like Kaiser White. He's outstanding. Over 130 tackles. Nasir Adderley at free safety, and I like their young cornerbacks.
The Tennessee Titans, they are now the top seed in the AFC, but are they the best team in this conference right now? How do you see
When
it?
we saw them in Los Angeles, this was the most physical team that we watched all year. They get A.J. Brown back there healthy. You get Derrick Henry back. Come on, man. Who's going to beat them?
Man, it feels like the maiden voyage of this playoff push. It's a winner-take-all between division rivals. High stakes under bright lights. It's what this city does best. We're all in on Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, I'll start with Vikings coach Mike Zimmer. After 8 seasons, the expectation is he's going to be out. The real question is above him, GM Rick Spielman. He's been with the team for 15 years. Will the Vikings move on from him? In Chicago, 4 years for Matt Nagy, the head coach, will be the end of the road. It's why they expect that he'll be out. He was coach of the year in 2018. Above him, questions about GM Ryan Pace. Will he be given a new title? Will team president Ted Phillips, who's been in that role since 1999 and in charge of the football operations with 3 playoff wins to show for it, will he still run the show? And finally, for the New York Giants, we expect general manager Dave Gettleman to either be fired or to retire from his position. But what about Joe Judge, the head coach? There was a belief that he is safe. Ownership likes him. Locker room is divided. Don't be surprised if the team decides to punt this decision to the new GM, whoever that may be, Mike.
There's malaise and concern with the Giants franchise and fan base, Tony, and you saw it tonight.
Yeah, and I know your quarterback got hurt. That makes a big difference. But these last 6 games haven't been competitive. And then what I saw today, running a quarterback sneak on 3rd and 9 to just punt the ball, that's not competitive.
Let's take it to the players' perspective on these teams, because, Drew, there could be guys sitting in a couple weeks going, man, we had a chance. And Minnesota's one of those teams.
Yeah, they are. You look at the talent they have on both sides of the ball. Defensively, guys like Patrick Peterson, Harrison Smith, the 2 linebackers, Barr and Kendricks. Offensively, you've got a great quarterback in Cousins, one of the better runners in the league in Dalvin Cook, 2 great threats at wide receiver. You look at that level of talent.
How do you miss the playoffs?
How do you miss the playoffs? So you're going to be sitting at home here watching teams play saying, well, we're better than them. Now, they played a bunch of close games, but they didn't win them.
Tied a record for most one-score games in a season, yet they were never over 500 at any point the last 2 seasons. Vikings season is done. Keenan Allen hopes his season is not done. It's winning in for the Chargers tonight in Las Vegas. The big receivers can be a big part of the Chargers' plans tonight.
Welcome back to Football Night in America. Let's get you caught up on the highlights. The Bengals taking on the Browns. No Baker Mayfield. Case Keenum making his first start since Week 7. Remember, he got a win against Denver there. First quarter, Keenum to Jarvis Landry.
Yeah,
Keenum, hey, he's one of the better backup quarterbacks in all of football. Did a nice job today. Jarvis Landry wide open, easy touchdown.
Now remember the Bengals, no Joe Burrow resting a sore knee back at home. No reason for the Bengals to worry. They will be the 3 or the 4 seed, depending on how things shake out. The Titans taking on the Houston Texans, and it's Westbrook Akina with the 4-yard touchdown, up 21-0 on the Titans.
Yeah, 21-0. Came out on fire in the pass game of the Tennessee Titans. That was nice to see. Tannehill played really well.
The Texans, they fought back and made this one close, Chris.
They definitely did. Davis Mills has been really impressive as a rookie quarterback. Kind of forgotten because he's on the Houston Texans. But either way, ending the season strong here and played really well today.
Well, on the ensuing drive, Tannehill, he's also ending the season strong.
This was play of the game right here. The Texans had taken back momentum with a football game. Big third down here. Tannehill does a great job escaping the pressure and finding the big play down the field.
Yeah, he found Westbrook Akina there, and then Tannehill to Julio Jones for the 3-yard touchdown. That's Jones' first as a Titan, and how about this? The Titans hold on to clinch the #1 seed in the AFC and a first-round bye.
Receivers are healthy. Watch out for Tennessee.
All right, the Green Bay Packers on the road in Motor City, taking on the Lions. Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams would only play in the first half of this as they already have the #1 seed. Yeah, it's already locked up. The second quarter, there's Aaron Rodgers just doing what he does best.
Well, he looked good either way, knowing he might not play the full game, but this was absolute perfect pass to Allen Lazard. Touchdown. Green Bay's offense, really with Rodgers in there, executed at a high level all day.
Okay, Detroit Lions offense, a lot of trick plays today.
Yes, they did. They were biting some kneecaps and ready for everything today. That's for sure. They were going down with a fight.
The Detroit Lions hold on to get the win. They have the second pick in April's NFL draft, but obviously the Packers, they move on. They have that #1 seed, but there are still some concerns that you have with this Packers team.
I think so. I think you look over the last month, the Packers, we know the offense is awesome. Rodgers, Devontae Adams running the ball with the two-headed monster. I am a little concerned about their defense. We've seen teams run the ball and move the ball up and down the field on them. Now, let's not count last week against the Vikings with a backup quarterback, but you look at the results over the last 5-6 weeks. Yeah, they've been leaking a little bit there on that side of the ball.
Yeah, Matt LaFleur was asked about that in that post-game presser, and he said it's about discipline, and right now we don't have all our guys playing disciplined on defense, Mike.
You talk about Green Bay and Tennessee. You know, here we've got 6 fourth quarters going on in one game. That's it. That's all that's left in the regular season. And we only have 3 of the 14 seeds locked up, but both 1 seeds are locked up. They mentioned Green Bay a bit. What about Tennessee, and maybe can they get Derrick Henry back and going?
Mike Vrabel has done an awesome job getting his team to that #1 seed without his ace, but they need Derrick Henry. They're winning a lot of close games. They're going to play better teams in the playoffs. They've got to get that real running identity back, Drew.
I would say, though, I'm pretty amazed that when they lost him, I think all of us looked at Tennessee saying, they're in trouble, and yet here they are as the 1 seed. And why? I think in large part it's because they may have the best offensive line and defensive line combination in football, and that's what you need to win. If you can control the line of scrimmage on both sides, which they can, you can win.
Might be enough to vote Vrabel Coach of the Year. Losing Henry, you didn't think they'd maybe make the playoffs.
And winning all these close games, it's been unbelievable.
And they go in as the #1 seed in the AFC. Green Bay, the #1 seed in the NFC. We don't know much more right now, but we do know that guy, Darren Waller, missed the last 5. Huge part of the Raiders' offense. Back in the lineup for this must-win game against the Chargers.
This is Football Night in America, served by Applebee's.
Sunday Night Football! Everybody watching!
Tonight's edition of My Cause looking at Austin Ekeler. Last year, the Chargers running back launched his own foundation. Its first project, a new fitness center at Santa Barbara High School featuring state-of-the-art equipment, sound systems, and flooring. Impressive stuff that Austin Ekeler does off the field in Southern California. Impressive on it. He had 117 yards, career high in rushing in the win over the Raiders. That was a Monday nighter, week 4. He's been in and out of the lineup, but he is essential to what the Chargers, Tony and Drew, do when they're going well.
He really is. You don't always think about him. You think as a Raider defense, hey, here's Mike Williams. We've got to stop him. And we've got to stop Keenan Allen and Jared Cook, but here's one other guy, Drew.
Yeah, and what you like about the running back position is the matchup that you get. Typically, it's against a linebacker. He's a better athlete. He can run better, and they do a lot of these short intermediate routes, but occasionally you get that fastball, that wheel route, that down-the-field route. But Austin Ekeler is a dynamic player in the passing game for the Chargers that really helped take this offense to another level.
When all their pieces are going, they can be very dynamic. Question is, what will the Raiders do to stop them? For more on that, back out to Vegas to Jack and Rodney.
Yeah, Mike, in this Chargers offensive line, they've been great, but they have to deal with Max Crosby. They need and Ngakoue, those two have more pressures than any duo in the league. So, Rob, what are you looking for up front when you look at this?
I'm looking at both these defensive ends. You know, Max Crosby, he's going to receive a lot of attention. He's going to get a lot of chips, a lot of double teams. But the matchup that I'm really paying close attention to is Yannick Ngakoue versus rookie left tackle Rashawn Slater. He made the Pro Bowl. He's got to be able to win that matchup if they want to have a chance tonight.
You're a lifelong special teams guy. Special teams caught your attention when you were watching these two teams. How will it impact this game today?
First of all, I love special teams, okay? I volunteered for 15 years because I knew the importance of field position. And in this game, you look at the Raiders, they have two excellent kickers, field goal kicker that won them like 4 games, and the best punter in the National Football League. But on the other side, Derwin James told me that Andre Roberts, he came in and gave this, not just the special teams, but the entire team a spark.
That's right. And the Raiders, they have shined in late game drama recently, and they are 1 victory away from the playoffs because of that NFL record, 5 walk-off wins.
Celebrating the victory. Presented by Allstate.
Jackpot, baby! This one's over! Put it in the W column, baby! Let's go! Yes! The Raiders come up a winner. Kick is good! The sideline explodes. Jackpot, baby! Bring on the Chargers!
Football Night in America is brought to you by Applebee's. Here's to the regulars. And by Rocket Mortgage. For the playbook on home loans, Rocket can.
There's magic to be found in every card. The 10.
Justin Herbert.
It can surprise you, dazzle you, even amaze you.
What a throw by Justin Herbert. My goodness.
Here in Vegas, the 4 is what people focus on.
The Raiders and Derek Carr strike first.
And in these moments,
Jackpot, baby!
4 is king.
This one's over. Put it in the W column, baby.
They each have 9. They need 1 more.
It is a huge win.
The season finale. Game number 272.
And here they come. We go home with the win.
To earn a wild card. Anything can happen when you believe in magic. Anything at all.
Oh, yeah, it's Vegas, baby. That's right. Magic tricks galore. This guy right here, he's capable of pulling some magic tricks out. No doubt about it. Derek Carr playing phenomenal football this year. You see there, 72 yards away from breaking Rich Gannon's franchise record. Herbert, a superstar. He's arrived this year. It's official. The #1 quarterback in the Pro Bowl voting. You see, points bet post time. Over and under. Hey, both of these defenses are stingy against the pass. Those are some pretty high numbers that they're expecting in the pass game. Now, let's break down Derek Carr and Justin Herbert. Both guys capable of being extremely accurate, surgical in the pass game, a lot like you, can pick you apart, but both have playmaking ability, I believe, that's really taken them to the next level lately.
Yeah, and have come up big in the fourth quarter. Derek Carr, they've had 5 walk-off victories, in large part because of his fourth quarter heroics. Here he is last week, fourth quarter, they need a big drive, stepping up, delivering a perfect ball over the top to one of his favorite targets, Renfro. He's done that all year long.
He has. Off-schedule play. Way to go, Derek Carr. Then you see Herbert here. I mean, again, his ability to read coverage and put the ball in tight windows. That's what's so impressive to me, Drew. 3 people looking at it, and then the big play ability.
Yeah, we talk about a big arm, maybe not a bigger arm in the league than Justin Herbert. His ability to make those big plays down the field to a lot of those big targets like Mike Williams, that is what has helped take this offense to another level.
I think you're going to see both of these guys be extremely efficient tonight. I mean, they're going to complete passes around the 70% completion percentage. It's going to be who makes those 2 or 3 big plays, right? That helps them win this football game. Now, also, wow, download the PointsBet app and get betting options you won't find anywhere else. Over to you, Michael Tirico.
Okay, Chris, man, Indianapolis, they're going to be remembering this game for quite some time. Jacksonville fans were talking about being clowns, making fun of the team, but their team had the last laugh at the end of the day. It was a tough day for Frank Reich and the Colts. Win, and they hadn't won in Jacksonville since 2014. And Tony, this was emblematic of the entire day.
It really was. The Colts offensive line was dominated by the Jaguars defensive line day in, day out.
Damian Wilson, remember his name, 6 sacks of Wentz on the day. Wilson with the pick here on this pass.
Offense could not get anything going. You have to credit the Jags. They came to play.
First road interception of the season for Wentz. On the other side, the number 1 pick, Trevor Lawrence, been a tough year. What a great finish to the season. And what a play here to Marvin Jones.
This is what they wanted to see from Trevor Lawrence. These were the magic plays that he made in college. He made them again today.
And we talk about Jonathan Taylor, maybe an MVP behind that offensive line for the Colts. They couldn't get anything going today.
So many times in short yardage, just stuffed at the line of scrimmage.
Indianapolis Colts go to Jacksonville, lose, and are eliminated from the playoffs.
It's a bad feeling, completely bad feeling, knowing that, we were in control, being in control of our destiny last 2 weeks, and we just couldn't get it done. And it's definitely left a bad taste in my mouth, a lot of guys' mouth. Not where we want to be, not what we expected either. We expected to finish stronger than we did, and we didn't get it done. It's a bad feeling.
Yeah, up and down season, and it's very down for Wentz and the Colts. So, as they were losing, the Steelers and Ravens knew one of us stays alive, and we can stay alive. Big Ben's last hurrah, maybe. No Lamar Jackson again. Tyler Huntley sacked by T.J. Watt. Ties Michael Strahan with the extra game involved, although Watt played just 15 games, most sacks in an NFL season. 3-3 in the third. Latavius Murray takes off.
Yeah, in the second half, they turned him loose. He was unstoppable. The Steelers really didn't have an answer for him in the second half, running the ball at him.
What a time for his best run of the season. And Tony, this looked like it was going to be the knockout punch. Huntley in the red zone, but intercepted by Cameron Sutton.
Yeah, chance to take a 2-score lead. Just floated the ball, tried to be a little too precise with it. This turned the game around.
Boy, they tried to get it to Mark Andrews. Why wouldn't you? But they forced it there. Big Ben patient. Chase Claypool, the window opens. Pittsburgh back in it and on top by 3.
And that set things up. They have a chance now to ice the game.
So we head to overtime, and in the OT, they force a punt, and here comes Roethlisberger trying to keep it alive. He will do just that 4th and 8. And you talked about this scenario, Tony. They go for it here.
Right. They knew a tie didn't really help them. They had to go for the win. Ben with a clutch play.
Ray McLeod. Where else are they going to throw? Over the middle. McLeod gets it. Such a tough year for Harbaugh's team throughout. Ends this way as Chris Boswell from 36 with the game winner. The Pittsburgh Steelers looked out all year. They find a way to dance into the maybe postseason.
You guys buried us when we were 1-3. Man, we got a lot of warts, but we're here, and that's been our position since September. And so I'm just appreciative of that mental fortitude being displayed by those men in that locker room.
And he is the coolest head coach in the NFL. Look at Mike T busting a move on Instagram Live here in the locker room postgame. He still got it. And his team still has a great chance. Unless there's a tie tonight, Steelers are in the playoffs. Let's go simplify the game. Ow! Powered by Microsoft Surface. Chris and Drew.
Well, I was one of those guys that tried to bury the Steelers like 3 different times during the year. I can't believe it. Their resiliency is amazing. Kudos to Mike Tomlin, and kudos to Big Ben Roethlisberger. That's who we're going to break down right now. I mean, just some of the throws that he made during the football game, Drew. Let's break it down, how clutch he was in the clutchest moments.
Yeah, this is something he's always been able to do. Stand in the pocket, tall, having guys draped all over you, making those big throws down the field.
Yeah, one of the few down-the-field throws we saw all day. Then finding the tight end, one of his favorite things to do to convert a first down.
Yeah, this may be the best throw of the game. The Freiermuth, 3rd and long, in overtime, fitting into a tight window.
3rd and 9, Deontay Johnson, little slant return, one-on-one. Tough to match up against these Steelers receivers.
Yeah, and remember, Baltimore, he likes to throw it to the middle of the field.
What?
4th and 8.
Right.
He goes back to the well one more time.
Yes. What was Baltimore doing there? Big Ben's going to throw the ball over the middle of the field. But I think both you and I agree. I mean, Big Ben being efficient, taking care of the football, their defense makes a few plays.
It's the Steelers' edge.
Exactly.
They find a way.
It could be scary. I can't believe it. Mike, back to you, man.
So unless there's a tie tonight, Pittsburgh's going to go to Kansas City to play a postseason game. Tony, on the other side of this is the story for Indianapolis. Their offensive line was dominated in this game.
Yeah, Carson Wentz is going to get a lot of criticism today, but the Colts have been an offensive line running the football. They couldn't get anything going today. Defensively, a team that gets takeaways. They got 0 takeaways today. That was the difference in the game to me. Offense and defensive line got dominated.
You think teams are going to be able to make those big plays at big moments, and they were not, and they're out. I'll flip over to Jacksonville here real quick. Mike Florio, one of the 3 head coaching jobs open right at this moment. Give us the latest on the Jaguars here first.
Well, General Manager Trent Baalke reportedly is going to survive the coaching change, and that has caused plenty of fan discontent. And there's concern that it may scare away some of the candidates that the Jaguars would like to hire. So there's a belief that Baalke may not be as safe as we previously had thought. As to the Las Vegas Raiders, Rich Bisaccia's done a great job as the interim head coach, fighting through adversity, could coach his way into the permanent job, but there's a definite buzz in league circles that owner Mark Davis may pursue Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh. He started with the Raiders 20 years ago as quarterbacks coach. And then with the Denver Broncos, we know that Coach Vic Fangio is out after 3 years. The name to watch moving forward is General Manager George Paton. He will make the decision on the new head coach, not John Elway, not anyone else. A potential ownership change is hovering over this, but the organization is very confident that they're going to be an attractive landing spot, especially because they believe they're just a quarterback away from becoming a high-end contender, guys.
And let's go to the Jacksonville story here for a second, Tony. They need some veteran stability for Trevor Lawrence. You've got a guy who you think would be a perfect fit.
I do. I'm going to give the Jags some free advice. Jim Caldwell. You've got a great young quarterback there that needs to be developed. Think this: Peyton Manning, Joe Flacco, Matthew Stafford. Jim Caldwell helped develop all 3 of those as they were young quarterbacks. And also, first-class, high-class guy who can work with anybody, who's been to the mountaintop. Hire Jim Caldwell. He'll do a great job.
They need an adult in the room, and he would certainly fit that. You mentioned Matthew Stafford. We welcome those of you who just watched Stafford throw a pick that ended the game and set the seedings in the NFC. San Francisco took 7.5 minutes off the clock, went down the field, kicked an overtime field goal. Stafford is intercepted here as the Rams are trying to drive. So that means that the Rams will play Arizona next week. San Francisco will play Dallas. Philly will play Tampa in the NFC Playoff. The Rams go from a 2 seed to a 4 seed. They win the division, but they are now a 4 seed. Football Night continues. All the playoff picture after this.
Simplified the game, powered by Microsoft Surface, the official sideline technology provider of the NFL.
Some throw, and here we go. The NFL's regular season ends tonight. Oh, baby! Get your popcorn ready.
Gasoline in my veins, need a fuel through my pain.
Playoff bound.
As we rise from the flames. Heart of a lion, never say never.
That's the greatest throw I've ever seen.
Shout under pressure, oh, it's time to fire.
Jackpot, baby!
Oh, it's time to fire.
This is Football Night in America, served by Applebee's.
Well, the Las Vegas Strip, it was built by a win-or-go-home mentality, and the playoff energy has come early to the desert. And Derwin James, he lives for these type of moments. And Ron, I know you spent some time with him this week. What impressed you about Derwin James?
I love his mental toughness. This is a young man that's gone through a lot of tough injuries early in his career, and he ended up in the Pro Bowl. Look at this guy right here. He's in the Pro Bowl. But what I love about him is that he's just a really great player, and I'm looking forward to seeing him match up against Darren Waller tonight.
In that Chargers secondary, they are going to have to deal with Hunter Renfrow. He's Derek Carr's best friend, his favorite target. How many receptions and receiving yards for him tonight?
Well, I say Zay Jones is taking a lot of pressure off of him, but I believe that Hunter's going to have a big game tonight, 8+ receptions and over 80+ yards tonight.
Well, you can make your picks along with us on the NBC Sports Predictor app. Maria, we'll send it back over to you.
All right, thanks, Jack. Look at these games right here, all right, Chris?
Okay, let's do it.
We got the Patriots taking on the Dolphins. Let's talk AFC. Mac Jones, though, intercepted by Xavier Howard, pick 6.
Yeah, gets tricked. Does not see the outside cover 2 corner. Xavier Howard does a good job reading the play, undercuts it, pick 6. He's unbelievable, Xavier Howard.
Dolphins up 14-zip. Then late in the fourth quarter, Damian Harris will take it.
Yeah, run game got going. Patriots made a lot of mistakes. Interceptions, fumbles, special teams issues. Wasn't your typical clean Patriots effort. This didn't help either.
Yeah, huge 3rd and 8. Tua Tagovailoa will take it 11 yards. Another fumble recovery will tack on a few more points. The Dolphins win it 33-24. Then the Jets taking on the Bills. Okay, the Patriots, are they cheering for the Jets? Why, yes, they are, because they would love to win the AFC East. But the Buffalo Bills in control. Josh Allen, he's escaping, and he's finding his guy, Stephon Diggs.
Well, that's right. That's what he's always doing. It seems like we're always watching Josh Allen run around, make plays, and then trying to throw a laser to Stephon Diggs. Unbelievable concentration and footwork here by Diggs.
His 10th touchdown of the season. And then the fourth quarter, the Bills up 20-10. Allen to Devin Singletary. That's a 5-yard key.
I like it. Get this guy the ball. I mean, between running the football, catching it out of the backfield, he is a weapon in the open space.
Bills fans have to love the win, and they'll take the Patriots' loss too. So take a look at the AFC. Still plenty more playoff games could be affected with tonight's game. If the Chargers win, it would be Pitt taking on KC, the Chargers taking on Buffalo, and New England at Cincy. Now if the Raiders win, it's Pitt at KC, New England at Buffalo, and Vegas at Cincy. But if you are the Bills, is there a path you like better?
I don't know if there's necessarily a path you like better. I'm sure they don't want to see Patriots week one of the wild card. You know each other's tricks. There's so much common knowledge there. But the Bills, the one thing I'll say, we know their defense is really well coached by Leslie Frazier and McDermott. The offense, it's big playability. It's too Josh Allen-centric still, but they have got a running game going lately a little bit, Devin Singletary. And to me, that'll be a big key for them in the playoffs. The ability to just get people to creep up to the line of scrimmage, to open up some passing lanes for Josh Allen and company will be crucial in January.
So the Bills win the AFC East for the second straight season. For more on the Patriots, back to you, Mike.
Well, yeah, if the Raiders win, Maria, as you pointed out there, New England will go to Buffalo and see them for the third time this year. If the Chargers win, New England goes to Cincinnati. Your reaction to the Patriots today?
Well, I'm a little concerned about New England. As Chris said, some mistakes that we aren't used to seeing. New England Patriots usually, Drew, in January, games that you have to win at home against Buffalo last week to take first place in the division. They didn't show up. And today, same thing.
Yeah, they need to find that rhythm that they had mid-season when they had a good win streak going. And in fact, they were the 1 seed there for a little bit, but it was great defense. Back to that Belichick defense, taking away the other team's best player.
Right.
Offensively, it was leaning on the run game and just having, the quarterback just throw it maybe 20, 25 times a game. That is when they are at their best.
Interesting if they go back to Buffalo. Two great games, including the one with the odd weather on the Monday night in November. Joey Bosa, he's been on a tear of late. 6 sacks his last 8 games, 9.5 on the season. He's forcing a bunch of fumbles this year. Can he do it to Carr and the Raiders? The big one in the AFC, still to come.
Welcome to the Hyundai Sunday Night Kickoff.
Monica's rolling. He's got Charlie Peck on the 20. Touchdown! Christie fumbles the ball. It is recovered by Oakland for a touchdown. Oakland has scored 2 touchdowns in 9 seconds. An unbelievable finish. Casper makes it over the shoulder catch. He cuts from behind at the 15-yard line. Thatcher, and his pass is broken up by Tatum. Gets up. Over Harris has it. Play's going to be reviewed, though, Greg.
After reviewing the play, it is an injury.
All right.
It's not over, folks.
The Oakland Raiders have scored on the most zany, unbelievable, absolutely impossible dream of a play. Madden is on the field. He wants to know if it's real. They said yes. Get your big butt out of here. He does. There's nothing real in the world anymore. This one will be relived forever.
Sometimes involving the Chargers, the Raiders have played some of the greatest games and most memorable games in NFL history, so many with titles as well. And as you know, that monument statue in the stadium to Al Davis, it gets lit by a special individual before each game. And tonight before the game, the family of John Madden, his wife Virginia, sister Judy, sons Mike and Joe, and the grandsons Jesse and Jack will light the Al Davis Memorial Torch. There's John Madden Torch, part of the Raiders. The Madden Cruiser is there to honor Coach Madden's memory before tonight's Raiders-Chargers winner in the playoffs. If they tie, both get in. We go on the field presented by Hyundai and look at the quarterbacks. Tony, Derek Carr for the Silver and Black.
Yes, his teammates love him. His coaches love him. Tonight he gets a chance to get the Raiders fans fans to love him. Just one piece of advice, Derek. Don't forget Josh Jacobs. Don't forget handing the ball off to him tonight.
You want to talk about love? Drew Brees loves Justin Herbert's ability, right?
I'm going to say maybe the most talented young quarterback in the league. And what I like most about him, though, is he loves ball. And in a game like this, on the road, hostile environment, just trust the system, trust your playmakers, be ready to win this in the fourth quarter.
Chargers win, they go to Buffalo, and Vegas is out. Vegas wins, they go to Cincinnati. Chargers are out. Pittsburgh gets in as long as somebody wins. That's what's ahead in the AFC West. The NFC West was up for grabs. Some wild finishes. I know a bunch of you watched them. Let's relive them. San Francisco and LA in a second. We start with Seattle and Arizona. And what a performance for James Conner this year, 20-yard score.
Just again, he's a double threat running back, good in the run game and the pass game.
This was a disaster for Andy Lee, the punter, pressured by Travis Homer, fumbles it, Seattle recovered, and Russell Wilson, in perhaps Chris's last game as a Seahawk, played a terrific game, 4 touchdowns in this one.
He did. He outdueled Kyler Murray. They made a ton of plays all game long in the pass game. Russell Wilson was phenomenal, along with Rashad Penny in the run game, Mike.
So that hurt Arizona's chances. Seattle ends 7-10. What will happen in the future to be determined for Carroll and Wilson. As for Tampa Bay and Tom Brady, Gronk was involved a lot. 42 yards here.
Yes, no Chris Godwin, no AB. Who is going to step up? Rob Gronkowski, a familiar face.
Bucks at the division locked up trying to improve their seeding. Keyshawn Vaughn, the run from a couple of yards out. 17-7. Good confidence builder for some of these guys. Bruce Arians, oh, really? That's what's going on? Whoa, okay. Bruce, we might improve our seed. Let's keep rolling. Give me Mike Evans for 20 yards.
He's always going to be a factor on the outside. Anytime he sees one-on-one coverage, Tom will go there.
So it's 13 wins for the first time in franchise history for the Buccaneers. Give me your assessment of the Bucs here as we get to the end of the regular season, missing some big parts.
But I thought the important thing was Tom got in a groove with some of those inside receivers. Cameron Brate caught balls, Tyler Johnson, so they're going to be okay.
So that's the Arizona story, or the Tampa story. Arizona, as we mentioned, with their struggles. I mentioned some uncertainty heading into the offseason with Seattle. Mike Florio, let me bring you in here for the latest on the Seahawks.
Well, the current thinking, guys, is that Coach Pete Carroll, who signed a long-term extension just about a year or so ago, and also General Manager John Schneider, who likewise signed an extension, will be back. Huge buyout obligation if Jody Allen, the owner of the team, moves on. The real question is, will the lack of change be enough to convince Russell Wilson to sign on and stick around, or will he ask for a trade? That's going to be the question to watch if there isn't a change at the top of the organization.
Seattle, a playoff perennial, out. So, who's going in? Last spot in the NFC decided with these couple of games. New Orleans had to win and get some help, clinch a playoff spot with a Niners loss in their victory. Taysom Hill to Adam Troutman from 18 yards out.
Yeah, and Hill was hot early on, got him off to a great start.
But we know Hill was hurt during the year, came back in trying to rally the Saints, 4th different starting quarterback this year, and on this play here, it really looks like it's non-contact. Hurt, again injured, carrying that right shoe on the way out, the left shoe I should say, on the way out to the locker room. So Trevor Siemian takes over at quarterback, and a couple of plays later, Tony, he came in and was sharp. Here's Traquan Smith.
Beautiful ball right there, and Smith makes a great catch, but he played with confidence, Trevor did.
First touchdown since week 10 ensuing Falcons drive. It's Matt Ryan, and the rookie Paulson Adebo from Stanford kept getting better as the season went on.
And this defense has been fantastic all year, up front and in the secondary.
And Siemian right back at it. It's Juwan Johnson from 5 yards out. Saints took an 18-point lead to the half, held on in the second half as they win to finish a very difficult season, 9-8. Sean Payton has done a heck of a job, and so too has Dennis Allen, the defensive coordinator. But this was the one that decided it all. San Francisco needed to lose for the Niners, for the Saints, I should say, to get in. Niners taking on the Rams, who were trying to win the division, and boy, they looked great early, up 17-0. Stafford to Tyler Higbee.
It looked like they were going to blow the 49ers out. You see Sean all the way down there in the end zone. Hey, you got to get back in the coaching box, please.
Well, speaking of box, up in the box there, GM John Lynch was keeping an eye on New Orleans, hoping his team could rally. San Francisco took the game over physically, and then went into the bag of tricks. Deebo Samuel to Juwan Jennings for 24 yards.
And Deebo was huge, just with energy and effort, and then that big trick play.
So to the fourth quarter, we're tied at 17. It's Garoppolo looking for Kittle, but Jalen Ramsey tips it 3 times and gets the pick.
And in the big games, you need your stars to make plays, and you thought this might be the one that puts the Rams over the hump. Ramsey with a great play to get him going.
The Rams defense did nothing in the second half, but had a great drive here at the end. It's Stafford to Cooper Kupp. What a throw! What a season! 145 catches, 1,914 247 yards, 16 touchdowns, and maybe the one to win the division, but not so fast. Back comes Garoppolo. After they were stopped, the defense got a 3-and-out, got the ball back, and they go down the field. Huge play here for 43 with Debo.
Once again, Debo Samuel, but that was a big chunk play that you don't expect that Rams defense to give up.
And then Jawan Jennings, was he huge on this drive? 14 yards for the score.
And I'm not sure, Mike, what the coverage was here. This was a breakdown, a blown coverage. Jennings wide open.
Tied at 24. This gotta have the game, goes to overtime.
No.
Don't touch that phone. Thank you. So we're in OT. The Niners got the ball, Tony, and they kept it. They drive down the field. Garoppolo to Jennings. 34 yards here.
Yes, big play, but methodical drive. They pounded it, took it right to the Rams.
And Robbie Gould, who had a punt in this game, and had a couple of good punts, so it was a different holder as well. Good from 24. So the Niners are up 3. Ensuing Rams drive, Matthew Stafford, they go down, they get a tie or a win. No, Stafford is picked, looking for Odell Beckham Jr. Ambry Thomas goes up and gets it, and the San Francisco 49ers with the walk-off pick to get into the playoffs, knock out New Orleans. John Lynch and the Niners thrilled with that as they get the victory. And we go to the Sunday night game flow presented by Progressive. Maria and Chris.
Yeah, and Mike, do I have this right? Christopher, you would like to talk defense for the Progressive Games flow this week.
Well, yeah, I got to talk defense. They were the star of the show on this one. And this 49ers defense, what they did to this Rams offense, especially in the second half. I mean, only 115 yards in the second, third quarter going into overtime. But it was the defensive line, Armstead, constantly in the face of Matthew Stafford. There was no run game to talk about with the Rams and their offense today. And then, of course, the big plays, 2 interceptions down the field. The 49ers defense took over this game in the second half, Maria.
All right, that was the Sunday night game flow presented by Progressive. 5 sacks, 2 interceptions, and only gave up 64 yards rushing to the Rams. Very impressive, Mike.
And this is your first look at the NFC Playoff bracket. The Packers are the 1 seed. You want to get to the Super Bowl in the NFC, I got to go win at Lambeau. Arizona, LA, the 5-4 game in the Super Bowl site. 49ers, Cowboys. Tomorrow's the 40th anniversary of the catch, by the way. That's the 3-6. Eagles, Buccaneers, the 7-2. First thought, Drew, as you look at those matchups in the wild card.
Yeah, who wants to play the 49ers right now? After seeing the way they can run the football and the way their defense shut down that explosive Rams offense in the second half, the Cowboys have their work cut out for them.
And this was a critical loss for the Rams. Puts them down all the way down to the 4 spot. Right. Now you've got to play Arizona, and if you win that game, you've got to go to Green Bay. So this was a big loss for them.
And I know the Eagles rested folks last night, but they run the ball. Tampa will have their hands full with Philadelphia and their ability to run Jalen Hurts. So those will be the games to match up in the NFC. We'll talk about the AFC here in a little bit. Been a tough couple of decades for the Raiders fans. Playoffs once in the last 18 seasons. Can they get back there tonight? Will they win or a tie against the Chargers? The Raiders are in. It's what you hope the season comes down to. 1 game. Win it and get in. Win it or tie it and get in. Both teams get in with a tie if that odd situation occurs, but you see the sign, Jimmy. Baby. There you go. Raiders and Chargers coming up. But first, the best of Week 18. We'll start with the NFC. Green Bay at the 1 seed, locked down and taken care of. Aaron Rodgers still getting the job done. But the Niners, the Lions came back and won 37-30. Detroit doesn't get the 1 seed, though, because they win. They get the 2. Carolina, Tampa Bay, Tony, a lot of noise surrounding the Bucs, but Brady took care of business on the field.
He did. Mike Evans always going to be his go-to guy, and Tampa moves up to the number 2 seed.
Drew in Arizona, still a chance to win the West in this game, but they needed a win and some help. But Russell Wilson had 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, he played phenomenal today, both through the air and then this one on the ground.
So the Seahawks season is done. Arizona's going to face the Rams in Los Angeles next week in a wild card game. New Orleans needed a win, and the Niners lost. Taysom Hill hurt. Trevor Siemian did play okay.
He came in and played great. Did his part. Got a win for the Saints. Wouldn't be enough, though.
4 quarterbacks, 9-8. Heck of a season. Here is the Rams on the Niners. Matthew Stafford to Cooper Kupp late.
Yeah, really tale of 2 halves. Rams started off hot. So we scored there, just like we've seen a lot, but allowed the Niners back into it. They tied it up to take it to overtime, and that's when it got interesting.
The Niners put him on top, and Stafford picked by Ambry Ambry Thomas. No chance for Odell Beckham Jr. to get anywhere near that. The Niners complete the comeback, clinch the playoff spot. They'll head to Dallas next week as the 6th seed. So, Tony, you talk about this NFC bracket, and I would like to hear your thoughts on Tampa as a 2 seed playing Philadelphia.
Well, I'm excited if I'm Tampa to get that 2 seed. Not that Philadelphia is going to be easy, but it really makes the path a little easier. I don't have to go to Green Bay until later on.
Times and networks to be announced. These games, 2 Saturday, 3 Sunday, 1 on Monday night. In the AFC, Tennessee and Houston. Simple for the Titans. Win and they get the 1 seed. Tony, they did.
They really did, and came out strong. Had to hang on to win it, but clutched that number 1 seed.
4 touchdown throws from Tannehill. Drew up in Buffalo. Not pretty, but Josh Allen did enough for the Bills to get it done.
No, it doesn't seem like it's ever pretty for the first 3 quarters. And then in the 4th quarter, they find a way to turn it on. Josh Allen doing what he does, a little bit everything.
Back-to-back East champs. They are the 3 seed. You disappointed with the New England performance in Miami, Tone?
Yeah, we just saw some mistakes we're not used to seeing Bill Belichick teams make. Interception right here early kind of started the tide.
For the Dolphins, Patriots can be a wild card. They'll go to Cincinnati or Buffalo. Drew, Indianapolis just had to go to Jacksonville and win. They didn't get it done.
No, and really, unfortunately, they go down to Jacksonville today and get whooped pretty good.
That opened the door for Pittsburgh or Baltimore, tied late in overtime. Big Ben, maybe not his last game, maybe not his last completion. Maybe he gets a shot in the playoffs. That set it up for Chris Boswell.
Yes, 4th down and 8 conversion. They couldn't play for a tie, had to play for the win, and they got it.
All right, Steelers are in the playoffs unless the Chargers and Raiders end in a tie tonight. Ravens lose their last 6. So here are the 2 scenarios. Chargers win, go down the left. Steelers, Chiefs, Chargers at Bills, Patriots in Cincinnati. We're on to Cincinnati. Raiders win, go to the right column. If the home team wins, Steelers, Chiefs, Patriots, Bills, Raiders go to the Bengals. Did anybody in the AFC impress you enough in the last 24 hours to say, I can see that team winning 3 straight games, or 2 in Tennessee's case, to get to the Super Bowl?
This is really about as wide open a field as I have seen. Just ups and downs. Tennessee, great job of persevering. Derrick Henry, if he can come back like the Derrick Henry we know, maybe they become the favorites.
Yeah, but it has been a lack of consistency amongst all the AFC teams. I think if you're going to give a nod to somebody, I would look at Kansas City and just say, they've been there. They've been there a lot. But the Cincinnati Bengals, that is must-watch TV. I love their big play, explosive mindset, and let's see if that carries on in the playoffs.
The Raiders will be going to the jungle if the Raiders win tonight. Who will win tonight? Here are the home team picks brought to you by Lowe's to wrap up the regular season. Jack gets us started with America.
Mike, 66% of the country is on the Chargers. For the loser, there is no tomorrow. It's a do-or-die kind of night from an all-or-nothing kind of town. And Brandon Staley's aggressiveness on 4th down can swing the odds in a game like this. I'm taking the Chargers. You?
You know what? I really think that Justin Herbert is really ready to go to that next level. So I trust him. I'm taking the Chargers as well.
I hope you're right. Mike Florio, who you going with?
You know, these 2 teams met in the playoffs 41 years ago on Tuesday, and the Raiders won. And I know this isn't a playoff game, but it basically is. Winners in, losers out. Head says Chargers, heart says Raiders. Everything they've been through this year, this is Derek Carr's opportunity. Chargers 2 and consider. I like the Raiders.
I like it, Mike, and I'm going to go with your heart and go with the Raiders, too. Let's try to get your losing record.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to get to 500 here. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's good to have you back over here.
Yeah,
but I'm going to go with the Chargers. I think just between Justin Herbert, and they got a few more playmakers than the Raiders, too.
I'll go Chargers. Who wins and why?
I like the Raiders, and I think Josh Jacobs is going to have a big game against that Charger run D.
I'm going to agree with my former Charger teammate, Rodney Harrison, and go with the Chargers as well.
Why do you think they'll win tonight?
Well, big plays, and I think Justin Herbert's ready.
Yeah, Herbert, Keenan Allen, I think it's a huge game for them. Austin Ekeler, I think is a big factor. His 100-yard game was against the Raiders this year. See if he does it again. Those were the home team picks for tonight, brought to you by Lowe's. And here we go. If you include the 13 playoff games, we got 14 games of football for this season. We need the 14th team to play in the playoffs, right? Chargers or Raiders? Or maybe both of them. Al, Chris, and Michelle coming up, and Carrie Underwood.
Play to
Enjoy
win the game.
Win the game. No ties.
This has been the Hyundai Sunday Night Kickoff. Spanish language audio provided by Telemundo Deportes, or watch tonight's game in Spanish on Universo.